What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This video has been a little bit long time coming. I apologize for that to you guys and JMAC Customs. There's been some family matters I've had to attend to that you've seen on the channel before this. But we finally got out today over here at the range to take a look at this JMAC Custom MMS rail system along with their T2 mount and their QD sling mount. Now, I'm gonna go over all this. It also has their gas tube up here. I'm gonna go over all this. You've seen how to install this. I've already done a video. If you're looking for that video, it's a few videos back. But I showed you how to install this, the torques and stuff to use on all this stuff so that you install it correctly. But I have been sighting this thing in. I put about, I don't know, maybe 25 rounds ish, just kind of sighting it in, having some fun with it. I actually even forgot to put my caps back on my T2 right here, my Aimpoint T2. But I want to tell you, just from sighting this thing in, did not get real hot. You know, I didn't put a ton of rounds through it. Of course, the gas tube got a little warm, but the rail itself really did not. I think this thing looks really great. You can see right here. We'll actually take a look at this muzzle device in another video. I just wanted to kind of highlight what I do like about this rail, and anything if I don't like about it, I'll tell you about that as well. But I'm gonna tell you right now, there's very, very little I do not like about this rail. This rail is pretty awesome. If there was one thing that I wish that I was able to change, we'll just go ahead and knock that out right now. This right here moves a little bit, but that would be expected because I did get the 14.5-inch version. So there's really not much up here that you can secure this to. But other than that, this thing is amazing. It doesn't get that hot. It's very minimal in width. It does have M-lock on it. And one thing I do love about this is how forward I can mount this light. Now that does go again, that you have to get the longer rail to do that. And that's why I did so. And I knew going into that there was no way to really secure the front of this. It does feel solid. Don't make the last comment make you think that it don't feel solid. It is really solid. I just didn't want you to get it and be like, there's a little bit of play in that, but it doesn't really matter because I'm mounting a light on it. If there's a little play in it, no big deal. My light does not require me to have a stable mount, but this, the way they hook this T2 up on this rail system right here, the way they screw it in to the sides right here, that is perfection in my opinion. I did run an RS regulate mount. You can see some scratching right here on the side of the mount on the side of the gun. I ran an RS regulate mount for many years on this SLR 107R rifle, this Arsenal, and I liked it. I didn't have any issues with it. But this JMAC Customs MMS T2 mount, look how low this sits to that plate. You can still get the rear plate off. You can still get it back on. You've seen when I mounted this thing up. I had the plate and the gun disassembled to do that. I always make sure that your gun is disassembled before you do any work like that. But you can still get this off and on. And this right here is the cat's meow, in my opinion. As low as that thing sits, you can still co-witness your sights. I love that. That was one thing that the RS Regulate mount did that I really didn't like. You had to get really low in the optic to even come close to co-sighting those sights, or co-witnessing those sights. You had to get really low. And this one is more like a 1/3 co-witness if you're used to that, like an AR style. This gas tube right here, I really like this tube. You can see it actually extends over the gas block just a little bit, and I like that. If nothing else, for aesthetics, I like it. I think it looks better that way than having the gas block come way back here somewhere and then the gas tube starting. Don't know if that'll affect, you know, any more reliability. It's definitely not going to hurt any reliability. It may keep some dirt and debris out of that, possibly, if you're having gaps in some other models out there or brands out there. So this could actually help in a little bit of reliability, I guess. But it's definitely not going to hurt it. And I think it just looks better than other brands. Again, this is going to get hot. And that is one reason that I liked where the light placement is. So if you see, I usually C-clamp most of my ARs and stuff, because ARs don't get hot like an AK does. And you can't really do that on this unless you're wearing some really good gloves, because this is going to warm up because your gases are coming back through this. It'll happen with every brand. It does not matter which brand it is. Every brand is going to get hot. So C-clamping the gas tube is not a good idea on an AK. But by mounting this light so far forward, now I can almost get kind of like a C-clamp right here with my thumb on top, and I can still roll it back and hit my light like that right there. So I still get like kind of like a C-clamp grip on it, and I find it to be way more sturdy than just like a normal grip like this, or like a normal AK grip that you would take. I find this to be much more sturdy. So I highly recommend, if you're looking at getting one of these, get the 14.5 so you can mount that light forward, so you can still get that grip that you may be used to on your ARs. Now let's talk about this QD sling mount just a little bit. You can see it right there. I do have my sling mounted backwards. The reason I mounted this one, well, I don't know about backwards. You can mount it either way you want to, but I got it mounted towards the back side of the gun instead of the front side. You can mount that any way you want to with M-lock. But as you can see right here, I didn't have to cut my factory sling loop off. This actually goes over that and covers it. It does make this part of the rail more stable. So it locks all this in, because you can see you have to put a little gap right here in the rail, so you don't have to cut that sling loop off. And by mounting this QD mount over here, it does make this part more stable. It tightens this up and gives like a bridge to both sides of that gap. And the reason, again, why I got my mount backwards is because of this bad boy right here. So subscribe if you want to see more about this and what I put on this, and why I may have my grip mounted a little bit forward, which is why I have my sling back here. Now I do prefer to have my sling a little far backwards, towards the back of the guns. I like the way it hangs a little bit better that way. I actually forgot my sling at home, sorry about that. But the way this right here also tapers when I put my hand up there, I don't know if I can really get a good view of that. Maybe this way. You can see how my hand just kind of rides down on that. I like it that way a little bit better too. It kind of gives me a little bit of leverage to push back on the gun. The way my hand hits that, you can see right here, the way it just kind of indexes in that little ridge, and I can kind of pull back on the gun and really control some of the recoil. There again, if you want your sling mount turned the other way, you can do that and have your sling further back in case you want to have like your grip or something back here in case you don't run a grip and you want to use your sling to kind of steady that rifle. You can do that as well. We all have different ways that we like to do that. This is just my preference and it works well for me. Plus, it really helps me get that C grip on top of that light. If you're not running light, it may not make a big difference. But if you are running light, this is the way I recommend to mount this. But enough talking, let's get to shooting. I've put, I don't know, like I said, about 25 rounds, 30 rounds through this so far, and I'm really, really enjoying it. Everything is still, you know, rock solid as you would expect. I use blue Loctite on all this, so it really should stay rock solid. I met all the specs and torques like it should be done. Everything is put on perfectly. Really, really enjoying this. But like I said, let's put on some eyes and ears and shoot this thing a little bit. Okay guys, now that ain't a ton of rounds, but it is a rail. We're not testing the rifle, we're just looking at the rail. And just from watching that right there, before I even really set my stance, you could tell the recoil really wasn't that bad at all. And AKs are not crazy hard at recoil, but they are harder than ARs. So you can't expect a little more out of this. It will jerk you a little more than that. But you have seen how stable that was, and I really credit that to this sling mount. The way I can get the grip on it, the way I can lock my hand in that sling mount, and this vert grip as far out as it is, I can really get a good purchase, a good steady grip on the gun and really manage that recoil very well. It just, all this combined together and the way I have it set up just aids for a flat shooting AK. Now, I wish I could tag or link JMAC Customs in the comment section below, but according to YouTube rules, I can't do that. So if you're looking for one of these rails, please go check them out at jmac-customs.com and pick one of these things up because they are great. I used to have an SLR rail on this, and I replaced it with this, and I do not regret it, because in my opinion, this JMAC rail is way ahead of the SLR rail that I went from. Just if nothing else, the way this side is set up, I can't say enough about how this is set up and how everything on that side actually just works together to just make a very steady platform for this rifle. Again, if you want to see what this bad boy is right here, and another reason I have this pushed out so far, stay tuned to the next video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Again, I want to thank JMAC Customs for sending out what you see right here for testing and review. I do think it is one of the best rails on the market for your AK. Don't forget to go pick one of these up if you're looking for a rail. I love you guys. We'll see you next time.